All right, well, I wanted to show how to make a quick signet ring style design using the form tools rather than using the solid lofts. So what I did, and I'll start this over, we start a new component, but essentially all I did, exactly the same way we would have been done before, where first we create a path, circle, this could be a ring, then make a second sketch perpendicular to that where we have a top and bottom, and then instead we're going to use the form tools to create a uh, two halves of a ring. And from that, I'm able to modify it directly because it's a form tool. And then I was starting to make some features we can and then emboss into the sides. But let me start a new component. That way we can start from scratch. All right, hide all of that stuff. Great. So with this new component, use these origins. So first we start with a sketch looking straight on from the front. So the XZ plane. And I'm just going to use a circle tool, center circle, start smack in the middle, and make it as big as you need to. So, I don't know, 50, sure, whatever. Finish sketch. That's going to be my main path. Okay. Now, I go perpendicular to that. So the YZ plane, start a new sketch there. My circle is now just a straight line up and down. So I want to use project, or just press P on your keyboard, but project. And I want to copy that circle. Now I have these 2 points that I can directly snap to and work with. And I'm just using an ellipse. So from the top, I don't know, we'll make something larger. I don't know, sure, 30. And go up a bit. I'm just grabbing numbers. It doesn't really matter. Make another ellipse at the bottom. I'm going to make this a little bit wide, but smaller. I don't know, sure, 14 by whatever. Okay, that'll work. So I have my top and bottom sketch. Finish sketch. Now, before we would have gone straight to create and loft from here, but instead, because I want to have something that I can manipulate much more easily, now I'm going to go to the form tools, create form, and under create here, I'm going to use the loft tool in the form environment. Same thing, select your top profile, that top oval, the bottom one, you'll get an error because it's trying to create it directly through. You need to go to your toolbox, change to the center line. So now I can select my circle as a path, and it makes half of my soon-to-be ring. Now you can of course play around with making fewer faces if you want to simplify it. Whatever, that's up to you. Don't have to. Hit OK. So it makes half. Now I need to go to mirror, but I don't need internal symmetry. I need to duplicate. So make a copy. This is just using mirror. This is essentially just using mirror like we would before. My T-spline body is the thing I just made. My mirror plane is the XY, or the ZY plane. It automatically offers to weld tolerances. Hit OK. Great. And it also has symmetry applied. You can see the symmetry straight up round. So it has symmetry from left and right. All right. There's you a basic ring. From here, we're going to go to model edit form, and this is where we can play around with stuff. Now, if you want to say like make the top more circular, what I have found, one of the fastest ways to make that top circular, let's just delete some faces because it will automatically make this a little more circular. There we go. Now from here, let's play with this form a little bit. Like, I don't know, go to edit form here. Drag that outward a bit. Oops, I meant to grab both the front and the back. Probably would be better to have symmetry go in both directions too. So if you haven't already, I'm going to change that as well. I have left and right symmetry, but not front and back. There we go. Now you can see it has symmetry going front and back and left and right. Easier to work with, easier to keep track of. Okay, there you go. So let's just make this a little more flat if you want. I'm just going to grab some of these. And I'm just dragging things up so I have a little more control over what I'm doing, adjusting these. Cool. Okay. All right. Oh, I didn't mean to finish form. Now, if I want to make that little stack going up, I'm going to use by edge, double click to select the whole top. Now I can either just drag that all straight up, or you can do both, or I can extrude that. So press and hold Alt and then drag up and it starts to extrude. So now I have a little tower on top of my ring. If I want to shrink that or anything, I'll use the scale tool to shrink it up and down. Ooh, way too big. Or just kind of leave it where it was. Also good. To close this ring up, because right now it's an open surface, to close this up, I'm going to go to Modify, Fill Hole, and I already had that upper edge selected, so great. I want to use Collapse. Make sure you select Weld Center Vertices, and in this case, I want to keep the creases. So yeah, it keeps that top as a flat top. There you go. So now it's a closed ring, more signet ring style. You can, of course, go back in and keep editing. So like if I want, I can double click there. I'm going to drag that outward to make it more like the kind of tower ring style. You can drag it way too far, but just manipulate this however you see fit. If you want to make this inner ring a little bit flatter, so it's not quite so rounded now, we could use a scale tool, push that outward. Now it's a little bit more flat. We could always use a sketch extrude on this ring to make it perfectly cylindrical later. It's up to you. But there we go. So now I have that little design, or now I have my overall design. From here, finish form. This is where I can start adding features and things. So if I wanted to say, oh, do something to the top. Let's make a construction plane up top. And from there, this is where I can use like play with some sketches. I'm going to do project again because I like working this way. Oh, my body's going to give me the whole outline. I want to select, no, that's going to make me select all the way around individually. That's frustrating. But I just want this upper edge all the way around. Okay. So now I can hide bodies and I have my outline there. So now just do whatever. If you wanted to make a smiley face or whatever, in this case, I don't know, let's just throw some circles out here just because. And then, I don't know, something like that. Do a circle pattern of that circle. Center point is the center point. 3, 15, whatever, somewhere in there. All right. And then I'm just absolutely playing around with this. I don't know, let's make like an ellipse straight up and to the side. Neat. And then, I don't know, I'll make a copy of that thing. Maybe I'll use a circle pattern on that. Center point. Sure, we'll make it like a little atom thing. Finish sketch. Cool. All right, let's use the emboss tool on top. Sketch profiles, I want to emboss. I'm going to do these separately, like all these little circles. Of course, faces, I have to do that. Oh, nope, great. It's selecting them all. Excellent. There you go. How far out do you want to emboss? All right, 2 seems excessive. Let's just do a 1 mm emboss. Okay. Cool. Now I got my little divots. Pattern again. Repeat emboss. Let's use, I don't know. We can play around with some of these. Select all of that. Having to do it all individually, but whatever. Emboss on that face. And why is it not letting me? What's the problem here? That's strange. Anyway, don't know why it's not letting me emboss all of this. All right, fine. At worst, if you're not able to emboss often enough, what can work? Let's do a split face. Face it to split. Ugh, gotta go through and select all of these. Mildly frustrating. Splitting tool. Hopefully it'll let me select all of these. In this case, it is not. So that is most definitely frustrating. What is going on there? I'm not entirely sure why it's... Yeah, there we go. Well, I need to extend it. Just go to there. Ooh, closest point. Nope, closest point does the opposite I want. Along vector. There we are. Yep, there we go. So now it's selecting just there. And you can see that I'm getting my face split. I'm not sure why it's slightly off. I might have done something wrong there. Not sure. Anyway, if emboss isn't working correctly, you can split face. And now I can drag this upward manually. So obviously do the same thing again, and I'll get what I want out of it. So you can get a lot out of that, but the main thing is I wanted to show you how you can quickly create your signet ring style using the form tools rather than the direct solid. So hopefully that helps you get what you're wanting out of it. If you wanted to then make this like perfectly cylindrical inside, easy thing to fix there. Either you can directly create a cylinder or let's create a sketch right there in the center. Use the circle tool. Let's just make this slightly bigger than the opening already is. Sure, right about there. Great. That's all I need. Just that sketch. Because now, oops, I have all the sketches hidden. I will extrude that circle in both directions symmetrically. It will cut, and now I have a perfectly cylindrical inside. So the form tool can get you to a nice sculpted shape, but if you want the inside to be standard, you could just use a standard solid like a cylinder or a sketch extrude to get a very homogeneous surface inside. The reason you're seeing this little artifact down here is that is a representation from when I did the emboss up here. For some reason, it's showing something down there. Whatever. Ignore it. It's all one body, so it's not like it's cut up into chunks. So hopefully that helps you and gets you where you need to be. Hide those sketches. There we go. A little clearer. All right. Where is mine? There we go.